All right, let's pull back the curtain on the world of high-stakes surveillance. Today, we're diving into the professional's playbook to see exactly how you design a camera system for one of the most secure places on the planet, a data center.
But first, I've got to ask you something. When you think about security, do you assume the most powerful camera, the one that can zoom across a football field and spin all the way around, is always the best choice? Well, the answer, it's probably not what you think.
Okay, so let's get right into it by busting a huge myth in the security world, and it's all about that super powerful camera I just mentioned, the PTZ, which by the way stands for Pan Tilt Zoom.
Security pros see this all the time. It's a classic rookie mistake. You see a PTZ camera and think it's all powerful, that it can see everything. But the experts, they know it has a hidden, and I mean fatal, flaw that can totally sink an investigation.
So here's the deal, and it's super simple but absolutely crucial. A PTZ camera's greatest strength is also its biggest weakness. See, while an operator is zoomed in on something interesting over on the left, that camera is completely, 100% blind to everything happening on the right. If you need to collect evidence after something's gone down, that's a massive, unfixable blind spot.
So, if the most powerful camera isn't the silver bullet, then what is? Well, the pro approach isn't about raw power at all. It's about strategy. It's about picking the right tool for the right job. And that usually starts with 3 main types of cameras in your toolkit.
And this is where you really see the trade-offs. On one side, you have the workhorse, your simple, trusty fixed camera. Its superpower, it never ever looks away. Perfect for critical spots like doorways. And on the other side, you have the live specialist, the PTZ. It's fantastic for an operator who's actively tracking a suspect in real time, but it's just awful for guaranteeing you've recorded what you need after the fact.
But what if you need to cover a big, open room, like a data hall? For that, the pros have another trick up their sleeve, the multi-sensor or 360-degree camera. Think of it like this. It's got multiple lenses, multiple eyes, that stitch everything together into one seamless panoramic view. You get total coverage with absolutely none of the blind spots of a moving PTZ.
Now, choosing the right camera is only half the battle. You also have to think about how much detail you're actually capturing. And believe it or not, professionals have a super precise standard for this. It's almost like a secret language for image quality, and it's called DORI.
It all boils down to one simple measurement, pixels per meter, or ppm. Now, at the bare minimum level of what we'd call useful security footage, you only need 25 of those little pixels to cover a 1 meter wide target.
So what does 25 ppm get you? Well, that's called detection. You're not going to know who someone is or what they're wearing, but you'll know they're there. And that's perfect for something like a perimeter fence, where all you need to do is trigger an alarm and get a guard to go check it out.
But, and this is a huge but, if you actually need to prove who did what, maybe even in a court of law, you need a way higher standard. We're talking 10 times higher, to be exact. You need 250 pixels per meter.
And this level, my friends, is called identification. It's the gold standard. This is the difference between saying, hey, I think someone opened that server rack, and being able to prove beyond any doubt exactly who it was by reading their name badge. For any high security area, this is absolutely non-negotiable.
So let's just recap the DORI standard real quick. See how each level just builds on the last? You start by just detecting if something is there. Then you can observe what they're wearing. Then you can recognize a familiar face. And finally, the holy grail, positive identification. Each one serves a really specific, really critical security purpose.
So we've got the right cameras, and we know exactly what level of detail we need. Awesome. Now let's put this strategy into practice in 2 of the most notoriously tricky environments to monitor, a long, narrow server aisle and a super high contrast entryway.
Okay, the first big mistake you see all the time is putting a camera right in the middle of a data hall. I mean, it seems logical, right? But the problem is all those tall server cabinets create these long, narrow tunnels, and they completely block the view of what's actually happening down in the aisles. So what do the pros do? They use this really clever and elegant strategy called Crossfire. It's simple. You put a camera at each end of the aisle looking towards the middle. That way, if a technician's body blocks the view of one camera while they're working, the other camera is guaranteed to capture exactly what their hands are doing. 0 blind spots. Problem solved. The second huge challenge is lighting. Picture this. Someone walks into a building from a bright, sunny day outside. What happens? A standard camera gets totally overwhelmed by the light and just turns that person into a featureless black silhouette. The solution here is a technology called Wide Dynamic Range, or WDR. It basically works just like your own eyes do. It takes two pictures at the exact same time, one dark and one bright, and then it merges them into a single, perfectly clear image where you can see absolutely everything. Okay, this is where it all comes together. We're going to take all these pieces, the right cameras, the DORI Standard, the placement strategies, and we're going to assemble a complete professional security design. We're going to build a blueprint for a small but incredibly high-value space called a Meet Me Room. It's where different companies all connect their networks together.
First things first, the entrance. We're putting a fixed dome camera right there, aimed at the door. It absolutely must have WDR to handle that tricky lighting, and its one and only job is to achieve that 250 ppm identification level. We need a clear, evidence-quality shot of every single face that walks through that door. No exceptions.
Okay, entrance is locked down. Next up, the room itself. For this, we're going to put a 360-degree fisheye camera smack in the center of the ceiling. Now, its job isn't identification. Its goal is total situational awareness. It makes sure we have a continuous, uninterrupted record of the entire room, with zero blind spots. We'll always know who is where and when.
And for the most critical assets, the real crown jewels, we can add an optional third layer of security. This is a tiny pinhole camera, hidden right inside the mesh of the server rack door, and it's aimed directly at the cables. Its only job? To give us absolute, undeniable proof if anyone ever physically tampers with a connection.
So there you have it. We've moved way beyond the simple more powerful is better myth. Now you know how the pros use the right tool for the right detail in the right place to build a system that's actually secure. You've got the tech, you've got the strategy, so what's the biggest security risk left? Well, I'll tell you this, it's almost never the technology. It's the people who use it.